Before we dive into that and the production space, I just wanted to ask about state of game dev. I asked this of pretty much all the guests. Like, where do you see the games industry today? What's your take?
Oh, how long have you got? Um,
Couple hours. Let's go.
well, I think the last couple of years have probably been the worst it's ever been in terms
Mm,
of, the games industry's basically grown consistently since it began, apart from, if I recall, basically two different area times when it didn't, which was the crash back when Atari went kaput,
yeah.
essentially, lost all that money. I think that was 83. And there was another blip in the late 90s. But last year was very, very bad. And we're seeing there's lots of reasons for that. Interest rates going up post COVID, sort of
Mm-hmm.
decline. There was a big boom during COVID because people were sitting at home playing games, etc. So money's not as cheap as it was. People have less money to spend, and so yeah, there's been a decline. And also, I think a lot of games have got incredibly expensive to make, and they have to sell absolutely insane numbers to make their money back, and a lot of them don't. Um, and Yeah, I think there are a lot of the bigger companies that are in trouble because of that. They're spending too long to make things that don't have a high chance of recouping their cost. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for the future, I think it's a very interesting time, and because of the new tools and technology that are coming online with the AI explosion of AI, and
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to be affected by that probably sooner than they think. And
Mm-hmm.
there's lots of different ways that can, I think that can play out. Um, and At the minimum, people are going to be using AI tools to make assets. We already are for prototypes, and for concept art, and for engineering, and for audio. And Every couple of months something new seems to come out which is better or does things that you didn't think were going to be possible for a long time. Good example of that. Recently, we did a trailer for one of our internal projects, and all the voiceover was done by an AI, and we didn't think we could get the emotion that we wanted from an AI to really sell the thing, but we did.
Hmm.
That was you know interesting. I think the
It was,
thing
it was better than you expected, basically.
oh, way better, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a kind of a techie. I'm fairly into these things and don't see this stuff as a threat. I see it as an opportunity. But the big existential threat that I see for a lot of people is text to game. And there's a last year I remember watching a version of Doom that was being generated by an AI frame by frame. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was a version of Quake 2, I think, that recently came out. Now they're not
Yeah.
they're not working quite right yet. They don't have persistence beyond a few seconds of time, so enemies and things disappear. But you can see, if that can be that's solved, which I believe it will be a solved problem. All of a sudden, you basically have the ability for anybody to make a game. And it's very similar to things like YouTube. I mean, you to do what you're doing right now 20 years ago would have taken a whole team of people and a massive studio, and would have cost probably tens or if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to do a podcast or a little movie or something. But now
Yeah.
people can put them on YouTube for almost nothing. And I think that's what's going to happen with games. There's going to be um, 100,000, a million, a billion crappy games that that get put out because the cost of making them is nil. And the
Yeah.
people that are going to survive in that are going to be there will be things that go viral like they do now on YouTube that suddenly spurt out of nowhere, and there'll be people that have an audience because they make really good, you know, um, IP and really good games. So, I can imagine something like, Rockstar or Nintendo will probably be okay. They'll be okay. People will still want to have the experience that those guys curate for them.
Yeah.
But a lot of other people that aren't in that league are going to get, replaced by this machine that can instantly create something new for you to play for, even if it's just for 20 seconds, which is what YouTube has
Right.
done, right? It's constantly changing new things every day, and you never get bored. And even if something's rubbish, you just move on to the next thing, and you're entertained for a few more seconds. I think that's the kind of dim view of the future that I have.
In game and software development, we spend so much time estimating, and it often feels like a burden that just takes a bunch of time but doesn't really add much value. My name is Benjamin Karsage. I've created a course called Advanced Estimation for Game and Software Development. This is actually something people out there asked for when I was looking at what would be helpful to you, what course could I build. Estimation was the number one thing you picked, and I can understand why. Everywhere I've gone in our industry and in software generally, I see teams struggling with estimation, fighting with a sense of false precision, and generally going through the motions rather than really getting value out of all the time they're spending. And in my time, both in the military, in software development, and game development, I've been able to successfully predict the completion of large projects. I've seen other people do the same, and so I know it is possible. If you want to be doing that for your team, if you want to be advancing your understanding of estimation and how it can help you, this course is for you. A quick overview of what we cover. We start by discussing the state of estimation today, why it's so challenging, and why are we all doing it and continuing to do it even though it doesn't seem to add that much value. Second, we talk about calibration, how we can become better calibrated estimators and train others to be the same. Third, we talk about how to get ready to estimate. Who should be estimating? What are we actually estimating? How do we set up ourselves to succeed and to avoid the individual biases and fallacies that prevent our estimates from being good? Finally, at least for early access, we talk about tools, techniques, the approach. What are the ways that you can actually create estimates that add value? And when should you not use those techniques and use others instead? In the future, we're going to be releasing even more modules where we cover things like how to estimate things that aren't just how long a project might take, but to think about money and resources and so many other things that we end up estimating, value and whatnot. The 6th and 7th modules talk about small and large scale estimation and really try to make all of what we've talked about so far practical. And those modules will be coming in the future. For right now, we're focusing on those first 4. And as a result, we're keeping this course in early access at a lower price. As more modules come out, that price will go up. So get it today while it is as low as it'll be, and you will get all the future sections as well as those first 4. It's already 15 hours of content and more than 20 worksheets, templates, and examples for you to take away. I also interject stories from my own experiences, both failures and successes, of how estimation has gone well and poorly and what you might be able to learn from those things. So there's a lot of tools here, there's a lot of resources. This is a problem we're all facing because we all spend so much time doing this, and I think we get way too little value out of it. I think we could be spending less time and getting more value and really helping our teams succeed, creating the software, the games that will really please our audience and players. If that's something you're interested in, check out the course.